Welcome everyone to Tripp's art class. Today we're going to be trying out for the first time some new watercolors. They are actually called, if you look here, I think they're called Pretty Excellent. Pretty awesome. But no, Pretty Excellent, and it has little parrots on there. If you look at these, it comes in a nice like tin container, which was kind of a selling point for me. I don't know what they're called in the original language. I'm guessing Pretty Excellent, but I think they're pretty excellent. So it's not just a clever name. So I'm going to go ahead and set those right here with those watercolors that came with this nice little brush that contains water. Now I've never used one of these before, but I'm just using one right now. I normally use just a traditional, paintbrush, and kind of an old school guy in that sense, but I'm going to try one of these and see how I like it. What you do is you fill it up with water, and to put water on the brush, you just kind of squeeze it, and you can see water is going towards the tip of the brush. So I'm using here a render sketchbook, which is also new to me. I've kind of sketched out some artwork here, so I'm going to give this a shot and see how it works. First time using it. So I'll go ahead and begin just to try to add a little bit more value here. So I've already squeezed the paintbrush to get water on the ends. I'm just going to wipe up a little bit of paint and then just kind of apply it here. And first of all, I'm not for sure how well this sketchbook does with watercolor, so I am going to place a paper underneath it just in case it soaks through. So let's go ahead and give this a try and see how it works. Now first I've kind of put a little bit too much water on it, so I'm going to try to pull some of the water off of it. And it seems to work okay so far. Let's go ahead and get a little bit of green here. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more water to the tip of my brush by squeezing lightly. I don't want too much. And I guess the goal of this is to be able to use watercolors kind of like you would use markers. And of course, these watercolors, I think they're about 40 bucks, but that's still cheaper than some high quality markers. So as you see here, I'm just kind of adding little bits of value. Now for cleaning this, I think you just kind of squeeze it, kind of clean your brush, and wipe it on a paper towel. Now this is a great brush to use if you're out places applying watercolors and you don't really have any place to really clean your brush. Something like this, just load it up with water, put this little top on it, and we're good to go. I guess that's one of the purposes of this. So I'm going to go ahead and maybe go back with maybe some darker blue. Throw down some more value here. And one reason why I wanted these watercolors, which my awesome wife got me, is to be able to ink over them. They're supposed to be watercolors that do not leave a chalky surface when you're done with them. And if you use cheap watercolors, which is typically what I use, the one problem with using cheaper watercolors is that when you are done and the paper is dry, if you try to go over that area with ink, it leaves a chalky surface, which kind of messes up your ink pen. So I'm just going through, adding some value. So far, these are pretty quality. The reviews online said that these were some of the best, and I kind of like them so far. Now, obviously, I haven't seen how they work once they're dry, but already just looking at my paper, I feel like there isn't a chalky residue left over. There we go. And what I really love about watercolors is that you lose control when you're using them. That's one of the biggest challenges I have when I am creating artwork on the iPad or digitally, is that I have too much control, where if something is not perfect, I can easily undo it and make it the way I think it should be, but then you lose that natural look to it. And your mistakes really do add a lot to your artwork. That's where you kind of get your free-flowing style. So there we go. Some recommendations here I would say is make sure you have a paper towel like I do here, because when you do squeeze to get fresh water, your paintbrush is still a little bit wet, so you might want to just gently wipe it down before you start to load up your paints. Let's go ahead and continue here. Now, I already went over this with some orange marker, some actually Copic orange markers. Let's go over it now with some of these Pretty Excellent brand watercolors. And amazingly, they do work with the Copic marker. They don't really blend in with it perfectly, but a lot more than I thought they would. So you can add a little bit more color. I'm teaching my students when we're using paints or color pencils, they hear me over and over and over again say, don't ever just use one color. Mix it up a little bit. And that's what I'm doing right there by adding some different value and hues with the orange. Now here I'm going to try to clean this and see how well it cleans, which is actually pretty impressive. A few wipes and squeezes here, and my paintbrush somehow is clean. So this is definitely a great tool if you are a traveling artist and you're painting outside of nature, or you're doing some urban settings. I'm actually pretty impressed. First time I've ever used this. I never really had a need to use it because I typically paint in my studio, but this is kind of a cool little way to go. Let's see, let's go ahead and add a little bit more value maybe to the bird. I feel like the bird up here needs a little bit more. So having a hard time finding purple. That might be it. Yeah. Okay. So I'm kind of digging it. There's the cap. What I want to do now is really start to see how this works when I'm covering up a larger background area. Now, this is going to be completely new to me because normally I just use a thicker paintbrush like this to cover a large space, but I'm going to try it out with this more portable paintbrush and see if it holds true to the original paintbrush here. And I'm going to start with maybe some orange to kind of make this a very warm painting. Paint off my little paintbrush here, just a couple squeezes, a couple wipes, and somehow it's clean. It's almost like too good to be true. So let's go ahead and get some orange. I'm almost scared to do this because I'm not for sure how well it's going to work, but let's go ahead and give it a shot here. I wanted to cover a larger area. I feel like you have more precision with this paintbrush than a standard paintbrush. Okay, now I'll go ahead and switch to my standard paintbrush that I'm used to. It's probably not a fair comparison because I'm used to this one. I've kind of built up a little bit more skill with this paintbrush. And for the larger areas, right now, I would still have to say that I prefer a larger paintbrush. That might change as I become more familiar with the portable paintbrush, but I just feel like you can cover so much more space, so much more quickly with this larger paintbrush. When you are painting over ink lines like this, I do want to warn you, make sure you're using ink pens that do not bleed. So there's a little bit of an example of how that works now. What I would do then is add some yellow. And then brighten up that orange a little bit. I don't have too much water here. There's my son in the background. I think he's waking up a little bit. Featured little artist. Okay, so I'll go ahead and stop there. Looking at the paints and some of the parts that have dried, it is drying quite nicely. I really feel like if I went back over this with ink pen, that it would not be too chalky at all. It really looks like it holds well into the paper, a lot better than the Artist Loft watercolors that I was using before. This is really to the next step, which I really liked the Artist Loft watercolors because the colors were just so, I mean, they were affordable and the colors were just nice. They were, you know, you get what you see. So here are these, the Pretty Excellent paints. It kind of comes in what I told my wife I called it the like Tiffany blue color. But we do have a parrot here and it says Pretty Excellent. It kind of reminds me of like, I don't know, Wayne's World or Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Pretty Excellent. So there they are. I think they're about 40 bucks on Amazon. I think they're pretty quality. I think I'm going to be using these ones from now on. So thanks for checking out this product review on Trips Art Class. Catch you next time.